Hello and welcome to September's Tea-Klatch. I got my tea. Cheers. It's still hot, which is unusual. This idea comes from Tea-Klatch, which Anne Novella's been doing. Tea-Klatch is a Belgian-Dutch idea where you invite your friends around for a chit-chat and a coffee, but because I'm English, I'm drinking tea. My name is Jim. This is my channel, books, reading and stuff. I'm on track for my Goodreads challenge for the first time this year. I've finished 6 books this month already, but those 6 books, if we look at them in detail, some of them are not quite kosher. First book I finished was this, Linden Falls by Joshua Hershey. This was a book sent to me by the author, so thank you, Joshua. It's Christian fantasy, which is something I haven't read since I was a child when I was reading the Narnia books. It's about this girl, Mabel or Chloe, who's from a land called Linden that's fallen into darkness because of this evil demon called Lavian. He has words written across his torso like lawless. There's also words like liar. He has these wings. He has the head of a serpent, the tail of a serpent. Sometimes I felt like I was reading a description of a video game when the angels are fighting each other, the angels of light against the angels of darkness. It was okay, it was entertaining. I saw some other booktubers had also been sent this book. For me, it was 3.5 out of 5, which I rounded up on Goodreads to 4. The next 2 books weren't really books, they were short stories from Sherlock Holmes. It's Shaketember. The 2 short stories were The Red-Headed League and The Adventure of the Copper Beeches. I liked the latter, the Copper Beeches, much more. The Red-Headed League was a bit silly. The Adventures of the Copper Beeches was about this woman, Violet Hunter, who goes to work as a governess in Hampshire, but she only has light duties, but she has a high salary, and it's all very suspect, and Sherlock Holmes investigates. Watson is keen to link Violet Hunter with Holmes romantically, but that's not going to happen. It was an enjoyable read. Then there was a really good read, The Coworker, which I got as a NetGalley ARC, but it's out now. It's the latest book by Freida McFadden. Freida McFadden is probably most well known for writing The Housemaid. And as I read The Housemaid, I was expecting some fiendish twists, and I wasn't disappointed. The Coworker is about these 2 women working in an office. There's Dawn, who's the accountant, and there's Natalie, who's this golden girl of sales, who's had the best sales figures for 5 years, and she's having an affair with her boss. We get both points of view from Natalie live, and most of Dawn's point of view is from some email she sent to her friend Mia, and it starts with Dawn not turning up to work, which is most unusual because she's like regular as clockwork. Natalie goes to investigate, and she goes to Dawn's house and finds the blood on the carpet, and Dawn is missing, and there's an investigation. Both Natalie and Dawn are unreliable narrators. Natalie is something of a bully, but she doesn't recognize this, even though she's telling us this indirectly. And it was a book I couldn't put down. I could put it down, but I read it within a 24-hour period. And if you like psychological thrillers, I'd really recommend The Coworker. And from good to bad, this is Rafflesia by Alice Dodgson. Rafflesia is a very large flower in Indonesia that smells like a rotting corpse. This book, Alice Dodgson, is a pseudonym. It's a Georgian writer. I don't know her real name, but the book is full of mistakes, grammar mistakes, wrong use of words. Luckily, it was only short. It's about this French guy called Antoine who has a midlife crisis. He realizes his wife is cheating on him, and he goes to Morocco on a business trip, and he meets this plump girl called Annalisa, who he has an affair with, and it's not my thing at all. I did give it 2 stars, and I think that was generous. And the final book I read, again, it was a short story. This was Sea Prayer, and I listened to this on YouTube. Sea Prayer is by Khaled Hosseini, and it's a story of a father talking to his son as they're about to leave Syria, talking about how Syria was before the war and how it is now. And it's a book that's beautifully illustrated. Khaled Hosseini is famous for the Kite Runner and 1,000 Splendid Suns, and it helps us to empathize with the migrants' plight, why they're leaving Syria for an unpredictable life in the future, because Syria is torn apart by war. Currently reading The Chemistry of Tears for Strayaseptember. Peter Carey is an Australian writer, but this is not set in Australia. It's set in London. It's about a middle-aged horologist whose lover has died right at the beginning of the book, and she's given this automaton to recreate, to put back together, to take her mind off her grief. It got a very low rating on Goodreads, less than 3. I think it's 2.96, which makes me a bit wary of it, but I like Peter Carey's book, The Real Story of the Kelly Gang, and it's Shaketember, and I'm following Romeo and Juliet. The first book, the hosts Jason, Kelly and Nicole have chosen for Shaketember. I'm reading the book, I've downloaded it onto Kindle, and I'm watching the play on YouTube. The play skips out some of the parts of the book, so it can be difficult to follow it all the way through. I've seen Julius Caesar, Romeo and Juliet on stage, so I have an idea about what it's about, and I'm enjoying the language and the acting. But plays, as I've said before, are quite outside my comfort zone. I didn't have a good time at school studying plays. The method the teacher would use would be to go round to each student in turn to read out one line of the play. There's no dramatic effects, and there wasn't a lot of discussion about what was happening, and it was not the greatest way of being introduced to Shakespeare. Parting is such sweet sorrow. I'll see you on the next video.